Welcome back to this week's episode of Hormones, Metabolism, and You. I'm your host, Dr. Cassie Smith. I'm a board-certified endocrinologist and internal medicine doctor who practices functional medicine in Oklahoma City. Today, I have my nurse practitioner, Sommer Hood. We are just going to do a little set down and just let you guys get to know Sommer. I had her on the podcast last year. She's grown with Modern Endocrine over the last year. So I wanted to just pick her brain about what do you feel like are some of the key things that Modern Endocrine does well, what makes our clinic different than other clinics, let you just get to know her and her why and why she does what she does in the clinic, just some inside information about the clinic, about us, about what we do, what is it like to work there. We go into some things about healthy diet. We talk about some of our own personal struggles being healthcare providers and being, she's a mom. And so we just kind of talked, just kind of unhinged talked. It was a lot of fun. My goal of this episode was for you guys to be more comfortable with her and see all of the amazing things that she does for Modern Endocrine. She has a lot of assets that I am super happy to have in our clinic. And she's kind of taken over Dutch testing and things like that. So listen to this episode. Make sure you go to the end. We had some pretty awesome stuff at the end. But again, it's just very unhinged and truth about the struggles that we have as well. And some of the things we struggle with that we talk to our patients about as well. So here we go. Welcome back to this week's episode. I have my nurse practitioner, Sommer, with me today. So we're doing more of these episodes, or I'm doing more of these episodes where it's going to be like me solo or me and my team. And we just want you guys to be able to get to know us a little bit more. And we want to give you kind of, I guess real life, like what is it like to work in medicine? What is it like to be a part of Modern Endocrine? And I mean, it's a good time, right, Sommer?
Oh, it's a blast. It's a blast. Every day is a new day.
Every day is a new day. So Sommer has been with Modern Endocrine for about 15 months now, 16 months now.
Year and some change.
Yep. She came to us from the ER. I did an episode with her last year, so you guys may remember that. But I wanted to have her on, her, Lacey, and Dustin. We're going to kind of just get to know Sommer a little bit, ask her some questions about what it's like to work at Modern Endocrine, and just let you guys get to know her. So we're going to start with, what is your name? What do you do at Modern Endocrine? Why are you in medicine? How did you get here? That type of thing.
Okay, so I'm Sommer Hood. I'm the nurse practitioner, I guess one of the nurse practitioners now, since we have Lacey and Dustin at Modern Endocrine. So like Cassie said, I've been here for about a year and 15 months, year and some change. And I came from emergency medicine, which was, crazy all the time, 12-hour shifts, and coming to Modern Endocrine has been really nice because I've got more stable clinic hours. I'm able to do this work-life balance that we preach so often about in Modern Endocrine to help our adrenals, our nervous system, our mental state. So that's one big reason that led me to Modern Endocrine. And then looking at, not band-aiding it, that's the, epitome of the ER is, how can we stabilize you and get you where you need to go or get you followed up with? And now I get to be the one that follows up and look at everything from the longevity standpoint. That's kind of what brought me here to Modern Endocrine. What was the rest of your question?
What do you do? Well, you're a nurse practitioner. And okay, so I guess those are the main things, like what brought you here. So you came to Modern Endocrine from the ER. A lot of people listening to this will relate to this. So you worked in an ER hospital type setting, and then you came to Modern Endocrine because you wanted more of a work-life balance. So do you think that's been a good transition, a bad transition? You can tell the truth.
No, overall, I think it's been a really good transition. The one that I would say kind of stinks is, it was 2 or 3 days tops, 12-hour shifts. So you had more of a full day to get things done. But I missed bedtime 3 nights a week. I missed dinner with the kids 3 nights a week. I missed quality time with my husband 3 nights a week, holidays, rotating weekends and that type of stuff. And so being able to have those clinic hours and being able to spend that purposeful time with my kids. They're older now from the last podcast. So I've got a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. And it's really important years to be able to spend quality time with them and, make sure that you try to make them grow into fun little beings. So, yes, having, less days off is a downside, but having more quality time with the family and weekends and holidays, that's priceless, 100% priceless.
Yeah. So I think, I hear that a lot from our patients too, like people that work in traditional healthcare, maybe work in ERs, do 3-day a week, 2-3 day a week work days, but they're very long days. Although that seems better, I feel like if you work 2 or 3 really long days, but it takes you 2 days to recover, then it's probably really not better. And like you said, you are missing all this quality time with your family, not to mention your sleep cycle, etc. And I just remember when I was in the ER, like you said, it's so frustrating because you band-aid things, you don't get to talk to anyone about lifestyle, nutrition, anything like that. And then you have no idea what the hell happens to those people, right? Like, unless they just continually come back, but like, you don't know what happens to those people. So it's like, did I help them? Did I not help them? And unfortunately, more and more people in this country use the ER as a primary care setting instead of an actual emergency room. So, we have a lot of things that come through the ER that shouldn't be in the ER probably, but it's very different. So yeah, so we're glad that you transitioned from the ER. We hope that you're glad that you transitioned.
I'm very glad. I'm very glad. And we have a really fun team. We've got a great front office. We've got some awesome MAs and nurses. And, I know you and I are both excited about Dustin and Lacey coming on and being on the provider side with us.
Yes, love them both. Dustin is hilarious, by the way. And now that he's out of his little shell. And Lacey is like so sweet and so amazing too. So I'm super excited. And I was going to say too, I'm pretty sure every time I talk to your husband, he's also excited that you don't work in the ER anymore, because I'm pretty sure he hated feeding your children dinner.
He did great at single dad duty. He did not love single dad duty, which is fair because I don't like single mom duty when he works late. So yeah, it's been better for everybody. Absolutely everybody, for sure.
So you're welcome, Kiefer. That's right.
There you go.
So yeah, fun fact too, Summer's husband is an identical twin. So that's exciting too. But you can tell them apart, right?
Easy. Yeah. Yeah. His identical twin works the farm and ranch that they grew up on. And I feel like they grew into their careers. I think Kiefer looks like he's in medical sales, so he looks like a medical sales guy, and Connor is his twin, and he looks like a farmer, and they look enough alike, but definitely different in mine and my sister-in-law's opinion. We don't get them mixed up.
So that's a good thing. So I want to know from you, how would you describe Modern Endocrine to somebody you just met? So if somebody said, like, what do you do, or tell me about the place you work at, what would you say?
I'd say, the name kind of says it all. Modern endocrine is kind of this, newer idea of endocrinology, because, traditional endocrinology, and you and I have had patients from other endocrinology offices be like, I just show up, get this regimen, and off I go based on my hypothyroidism, low hormones. And they don't look at this in-depth picture of what their levels actually look like. And so with the Modern Endocrine, how you've created it and how we've kind of come along with you is we really look in depth at all things hormones, whether that's sex hormones, thyroid hormones. We do weight loss, but we talk about doing it a more effective way. First 3 questions are always, what's your water intake look like? What's your diet look like? And what's your exercise look like? And then, protein intake is within the diet. And we really talk about appropriate dosing of GLP-1s, and to make sure people do it the safe way and the way that's sustainable for weight loss, not the quick and easy way. So first and foremost, I kind of tell them all about that. We do all things hormones. We do, some weight loss. We look at gut health. And by we, I mean, you kind of take the lead on that with Sarah, and I know Dustin and Lacey are coming on with that. And I like to look at the Dutch testing, which is more of a, how do you metabolize your sex hormones? How do you metabolize your stress hormones? I really love that. So I try to stay in that focus. And then, you focus on the gut health part. We have, red light therapy and cold plunging. We have a little bit of aesthetics. We have IV room that you can get ozone, Myers cocktail, a migraine cocktail, some day-to-day stuff people might need to drop in for. And then, I think you're proud of it too, to my knowledge, we're one of very few places in the metro that does iron infusions for people who truly need iron, and not because they've been so iron deficient over time that they've become anemic. Like, we're able to step in and give them iron before it gets really bad.
Yeah. In addition to albumin too, we give people with POTS albumin. So yeah, I would agree with all that. I think we have this really cool place, like you said, where we try to actually give you root cause solutions and not just give you the same prescription or the same plan that the person before you got. I think that's why it's more difficult too to kind of work in our clinic. Like, sometimes patients will say, well, you've had several nurse practitioners or PAs. I'm like, well, yeah, because I only have really good ones. Like, you can't suck and work here. And you have to actually like care and be empathetic and want to be able to like figure these things out with people, right? Like, it's not an easy job sometimes, but it's a very rewarding job. And I think like you kind of nailed it. It's just what I envisioned when I made Modern Endocrine, I just made a video about this. It's kind of funny, was I wanted a safe place people could come and get well, where I kind of made this clinic based off of what I wanted 15 years ago. Like whenever I had hyperthyroidism and I had Graves, and then I was really sick and nobody would tell me what I could do other than take a medication that made me feel terrible. And then I got hypothyroid, and then I got insulin resistance and PCOS and was having all these issues with my period. And I kept saying like, well, what is causing this? Like, how can I get better? Can I eat something? And no, just take your medicine, and I was like, this really sucks. Like, I want to go somewhere where somebody has a better answer than that. So I think that's kind of what I want at Modern Endocrine, is like there to be this place you can go to actually truly heal, get education that's, going to benefit you and that's actually science backed and, that is individualized to you. So I think that's what we do really, really well. And you kind of answered my next question, which was like, what is the thing that you love doing there? And that's, you do all the Dutch testing for us, which people love. I had somebody ask me about that today. You kind of have taken that and kind of just started that and really like empowered our patients with allowing us to do that for them, and have learned a lot of that and just really helped people figure out how they're metabolizing their hormones, which helps us, their gut, their Dutch testing. So, we're able to offer a lot of really cool stuff at Modern Endocrine that a lot of people don't. Genetic testing, hormone testing, advanced hormone testing, gut testing. So,
yeah, well, and I think one of the coolest parts about us and, now Lacey and Dustin is, if I'm stumped or you're stumped or one of the other two are stumped, it's so quick and easy to be like, hey, let me run this by you real quick and make sure my thought process is the same, or tell me if I'm missing something, because, it could change. One day your mental process is like, okay, yeah, like this, and this. And then the next day you look at that same situation and you're like, oh, what about this? And so to get real time, different perspectives on everything. Like, I know I took a Dutch test too the other day for one of our mutual patients. She sees you primarily, and then I'm doing her Dutch test. And I was like, hey, based on her Dutch test, she looks malnourished. She looks like she's not eating enough protein. She looks like she's probably not sleeping well. Are you doing a gut protocol on her? Because her endocrine level is through the roof. And you're like, actually, now that you mention it, we just ordered one. And so it's cool to see how your specialty, like with the GI stuff and like me diving into the Dutch test, how they complement each other to prove or disprove kind of what our thought process was. Because people say these tests aren't diagnostic, and sure, officially, but when both things are saying the same thing, that's like even more to our thought process and point of this is what's wrong.
Yeah. And I think the other cool thing we have, not only like we all work with each other's strengths and weaknesses, but I also love that like all four of us are very like just easy to talk to, all willing to jump in and help, and just, yeah, we can run things by each other. So like you put me down this damn rabbit hole recently with nicotine patches. Dear God, nobody get on Reddit or the dark web and start looking about nicotine patches and gut health. Do not do it.
Listen, I will stand by I have not seen research on it, but I've seen a lot of cool information about it.
Right. And we are not condoning nicotine on this. But I think it's cool that like, yes, we can go to each other and say like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Or Dustin came up to me today and was like, hey, look at this. I saw this, I read this. What do you think about this? And so then I'm like, well, I don't know. Now I'm going to have to figure that out. So we also like keep each other, or like, we'll send each other a podcast episode or whatever. Like, hey, did you hear this? And so I think it's just really cool that we have people that really want to learn, want to be in this space, want to help people. And I kind of tell people this, I'm sort of not kidding, but I think that they think I'm kidding. I started Modern Endocrine in November of 2022, and I literally have been building the plane while I'm flying it. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, I need a clinic where people can go and actually get real help. And I've always been good at hormones and thyroid. And then I was like, I got to figure out how to do gut stuff. So while I'm flying the plane last year, I'm trying to build the gut section out of the gut wing of the plane. And so we've kind of figured that out. Thankfully, we got Sarah. And then, you're like, hey, let's do Dutch testing. I'm like, fine, let's do it. We've just kind of been building this cool space while we're kind of flying the plane. And so who knows what it's going to be in 2 or 3 years. Like, I think I know where I want it to go, but I also appreciate and love the fact that we have people that just kind of like get on board, and it's like, well, I guess we'll see what we're doing tomorrow. Like,
yeah, no, I can
better. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, one thing in this space of medicine is, and like for patients to realize, a lot of it is clinical. Like a lot of it's like pulling from research that's been very recent. Traditional providers really aren't going to be aware of it or care to look into it. But a lot of it's also clinical. Like, hey, this is what we're seeing clinically. This is what's helping clinically. And if you're willing to try it, you can, assuming safety wise and everything like that. But also the initiative is in you as a patient too. Like the whole nicotine thing you just brought up. Again, we're not condoning it on this episode, but I had a patient tell me on 2 different occasions to look into it. And I'm like, okay, like she's told me twice now, I've got to look into it. And I, started looking into it, and then we started talking about it. And so we're still looking into it, just so you guys know. But, again, a lot of it's clinical. I heard this podcast. Now let's dive into this and find as much information about this as possible. I'm seeing this and understanding this. How are you understanding this information and working together on how we can provide it safely for our patients?
Which I think is so cool. And yeah, you literally like kind of build the plane while you fly it. And so that's what we've been doing. And so far, I think it's been successful. And I do appreciate, I appreciate our patients who are letting us, figure this stuff out with them as we, go along. Because our ultimate goal is to make everyone feel better and to just continue to utilize all the information that's out there. And to, like you said, a lot of things in medicine are clinical. This is why most doctors that just practice by the book and work for hospital systems are 10 years behind. When you start to realize something's working, you see it clinically. We do so many labs. We see people every 2 to 3 months. We have so many data points. You're like, holy crap, this can't be coincidental. And when you do it on 1,000 people and, 96% of them get better, you're like, this is not coincidental. There's obviously some science here. But it takes 10 years to get a randomized controlled trial put together. And, now obviously you want to be safe, but like you can do that in clinics with patients as long as you're providing them the right education, talking to them about side effects, and they have a way to reach you. And so I think that's where we get to do a lot of really cool stuff too. We've been using STEM Regen recently, and I'm getting data for them. And so it's just really exciting what you can do if you just aren't so closed-minded and like everything has to fit in a box. And if you really, truly like want to make people better,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why like we love when patients are like, hey, have you looked into this? And if we have, then we kind of let you guys know the information as we know it. And if we haven't had that chance, then maybe I've known about it or have thought about it, and Cassie's like for hearing it for the first time, or vice versa, where I'm like, hey, Cassie, have you heard of anybody talking about XYZ? And, going off, yeah, a little bit. But now that we've had 4 patients ask us consistently, like, let's really, really look into that. And that's how Dutch testing came about for me, is I had 2 personal friends ask me about it. And I had 2 patients all in the same week. I'm big on signs, all in the same week that's asked me about it. And I'm like, all right, that's it. Got to figure it out. And I know you're the same way. And that's kind of how gut stuff came up for you.
Yeah. And to be fair, I knew we needed to do Dutch testing for like a year, but I was like, deep.
I know you were at your limit. You were gut stuff.
And so I'm like, I just don't have time, Sommer. So when Sommer came to me, I was like, yes, we need to do it. You have to take like ownership of this though, because I literally can't right now. And so she has, which I love. And it's been really good for our practice, but that's, yeah, it's, and the cool thing too is like, if we do come across something where a patient brings something up or we think of something and we're like, I don't know. Thankfully things like this podcast, and just some of the connections that I have, I've got to know so many amazing people in this space. and we can just reach out to them if we have questions. You know, I know the best supplement formulator in the world. One of my good friends, like I can text him if we have a question. I know really good people when it comes to peptides, best peptide therapy people. I know the best places to get pharmacies, the people who, you know, make them, who do research on them. Like I can just reach out to these people like, hey, what about this? And usually, thankfully, people are really nice and respond to me because I try to be nice to everyone. So, you know, we have these different ways of learning, which is pretty cool. And like Dustin was looking at the, what's it called? A4M lineup for pediatrics this year. It's in October. It's in Boston. Because Dustin used to do peds, but they have a lot of adolescent stuff. So he was showing it to me today, and he's like, "Look at this lineup. You talk about a rock star lineup for A4M for peds this year." But I like know almost every one of the people speaking. I was like, "That person's been on my podcast. I know that person. That person's." I was like, "This is amazing." You know, like it's so cool. So Dustin was like, "Well, so if we have questions, we can just ask all these people." I'm like, "Yeah, 100%. Like I know how to get a hold of all of them." So it's just really cool when you have like that ability, because it changes people's lives when you're willing to like step outside of that comfort zone. And I think because we don't take insurance, which some people are so mad about, but like because nobody is dictating what we do or telling us what we can or cannot do with our time with you and how we treat you, we're able to do that, right? So if you come to us with an issue, like I saw a girl today who has pretty significant alopecia. I'm talking like I was shocked, floored at 26. And we spent a lot of times in rabbit holes and in the weeds and doing all sorts of stuff today, like thinking outside the box because we can, because she paid to see me and I have 45 minutes to talk to her about whatever I want to talk to her about. I don't have to talk to her about anything other than what we want to talk about. So we went down all sorts of rabbit holes about her alopecia and we're going to do some stuff. But I just think it's really cool when you can really sit and like think about somebody's problem and try to actually solve it, as opposed to like just band-aiding it and then kicking them out the door and then going to the next patient. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know. It's just
no, I completely agree. I truly enjoy getting to be like, what does your water intake look like? It's pretty good. And you're like, okay, what's pretty good though? Like, are you drinking a Yeti, a Stanley, one bottle of water? What are you drink? Like we have the time to really tease out pretty good, right? Because otherwise we or other providers are just taking your word for what that feels like. What's your bedtime routine? Like, oh, it's good. You know, I go to bed at 10. Okay. But what are you doing before that? Are you watching TV? Are you on your phone? Are you working? I know Cassie and I are both guilty of that too. At least we wear blue light blocking glasses. You know, there's certain steps to take to make sure that your sleep hygiene is good, your day-to-day is good. And we have the time to do that.
So what do you love most about your job?
All of it? Is that a thing? I like the patient connection, like truly getting to know somebody and being able to, you know, at the very beginning, be like, you know, how are you doing as a person? Because what we forget is community and connection are a huge part of our health. And then, you know, after checking on everybody and how they're doing as people, then we kind of dive into, okay, how have you been feeling? What have you noticed or not noticed? So I guess that's, if I had to say something besides all of it, would be, you know, getting to know my patients as people and understanding like, okay, this is what we're dealing with. And that helps me as a provider really try to figure out how we can optimize them versus just make them feel better.
100%. The only reason I work as hard as I do is because I love seeing people every day that actually get better. Like it's the most rewarding feeling in the world when my patients come in and they start not all of them start completely like, I don't want to call them a train wreck, but with lots of issues, right? But a lot of people that come to us are just like, they're tired, things aren't working right. But it's just so cool when you like turn everything around and they come back and they're just like, they look different, they feel different, they act different, because then they go out into the world and give the world what they were put here and meant to do. And then that changes the trajectory of the world. It's like ripples, you know, like whenever I was a kid, I used to throw rocks. I used to love to skip rocks. And it's like that first rock and then all those ripples, like when you fix someone, it's just really cool to think like all the good they're going to do in the world that they couldn't do prior to that. So 100% I agree with you. It's like seeing people get better fuels my soul, which is why like my husband's like, you shouldn't work so much. I'm like, well, there's so many people that are sick, you know? So I completely agree. So what have you learned by working at Modern Endocrine?
Sorry, you cut out. What have I learned with what?
What have you learned by working at Modern Endocrine?
Oh man. So I actually make this joke with some of my nursing school friends that know me well. Like if you would have told me I'd be like in this endocrinology space in nursing school, I would have like laughed in your face because it was kind of difficult to comprehend the entire like positive feedback loop, negative feedback loop, all of these really intricate things that go on with your hormones. And so understanding, now that I've been in endocrinology for, over a year is the in-depth of it, and that a lot of how you feel is based in all of this, but it's synergistically. It's your sex hormones affect your thyroid, and your thyroid affects your sex hormones in your gut. And so learning that there is a domino, like you just said, this ripple effect of illness, and oftentimes it starts with, something in the gut that dominoes into your sex hormones, or your adrenal fatigue that dominoes into your gut. And so learning that true depth of the nature of illness versus from the ER background of we have an acute appendicitis, it's inflammation of the appendix and it needs out. Like that's it, but now I'm thinking, okay, how did it get inflamed? How long has it been inflamed? That type of thing.
And knowing you, I'm really surprised. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm really surprised that you put up with the ER as long as you did, because you are such a like complex, broad thinker, and you're such a like, how do I solve problems? Almost to, I told you this, like Summer took a personality test, you guys, and the company that I paid to do her personality test called me and they were like, we would like to talk to her because she has the highest I have ever seen. And like, she's the person that puts people on other planets. Like she literally will solve, like she will dig and dig and dig until she solves a problem. They were literally blown away by this test that I gave you. They like wanted to meet you and they're like, she's a problem solver. That's what she does. And you are, I know that about you now. So I am always, when I think about that, it makes me kind of giggle that you were just sitting in an ER for years, just like handing out prescriptions for pain medicine and taking people's appendix out and not really thinking about like what was going on, because I know how your brain actually works and what you are really good at. So to me, that's just interesting that you put up with it that long. But I'm glad that you're now in the space where you're like, you can do the things that God gave you the talent to do, which is like put all these pieces together. And I know you embraced it really quickly, because when you first started, I was like, how is this going to go? But immediately you were like in all the podcasts and sending me podcasts. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's good.
We'll be good. Yeah. The ER is an interesting place. If you ask most people who have been in the ER, like it's kind of like this traumatic relationship. You just can't ever fully get away. Like I left the ER and I went back, and I left the ER and I went back. And then as a provider, it's what I knew and I was pretty good at it. And so I just stuck with what I knew and what I was good at. And there is some complexity to it in some cases, trying to foresee, a COPD patient's, downfall before and putting them on something like BiPAP or intubating them before it's too late. So I enjoyed probably the complexity from that perspective. But no, this is like a whole nother level of critical thinking.
What you enjoyed was the dopamine rushes. Yeah, you enjoyed the dopamine rushes, like the little, but then in between you were like, meh, I think. But yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me that working in the ER is like an abusive relationship.
I mean, the sad thing is we all joke about that because it kind of is
a narcissistic abusive relationship. Well,
yeah,
hopefully you're done with that. We've moved on.
I mean, I haven't had a shift in a long time. So I think we may have pulled me out of that relationship a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, ER.
Yeah, there you go.
So I want to ask some like quick questions, like this or that, or like give me one like quick answers, and then I think you said you might have some questions, we can kind of go back and forth, but I want people to kind of get to know you a little bit. What is one thing about you that is interesting that people might not know, besides the fact that now everyone knows that you can wakeboard because they saw that cool post that I put out about you wakeboarding?
If you heard my dog bark, I'm sorry.
Mine's sitting right here making all sorts of noises too.
So honestly, I think my two go-tos of like a fun fact would be my younger brother's 9 months and 3 weeks younger. So Irish twins, basically grew up with a twin. So, that's one of my fun facts. And then I'm actually a quarter, Vietnamese. So my grandma's full Vietnamese. So those are kind of like my two kind of get to know me fun facts.
And it's true because I know her mother. So both of those things are true. And I asked her mother what she was thinking about the first statement, but the second one.
Now that I'm a grown adult with children, I also ask her the same thing. I thought it was cool growing up, but no,
Mom, what were you thinking?
Yeah, like what's going on here?
If you weren't working at Modern Endocrine or in the field of medicine, what would your dream job be if you couldn't do medicine?
That is a really good question. I like ever since I was little, it's always kind of been like helping people in medicine. So it's always been helping people. What would I do otherwise? I actually really enjoy teaching. I think you and I talked about that the other day when Lacey and Dustin came on, and I had said like, oh, they're more than welcome to hang out with me as well and learn, because I love teaching. So I think teaching would probably be where else I would be. And I hope our patients, but my patients see how much I love teaching in our appointments, because I try to systematically go through everything.
You know what's funny is I wrote down next to that teacher. I already pegged that for you.
What about you? I told you we were going to go back and forth. You always host the podcast. I feel like people don't get to know you as well.
I think if I wasn't in medicine, I 100% would want to be a teacher of some sort, but I think it would be more to like a broad scale. So I don't know if it would be like a talk show host or a TV host or just like a professional podcaster, but like one-to-many teaching. But then I would want to do it on something about like health and wellness. So I don't know that that's a really good. Now I will tell you this. The other thing I would actually love to do a lot though is being like a personal trainer. Like I love helping people like work out. My husband gets so mad when we travel. Like I literally went up to this girl 2 weekends ago and I was like, you can't lift weights like that, you're gonna hurt yourself, like do it like this. And he's like, nobody wants you to show them how to. I was like, I don't care, she's gonna hurt her back, like hey. Like, shoes. I know, I don't even go there. I know.
You remember that one time you were lifting in running shoes and I tore you up?
Remember. I used to lift weights in running shoes, you guys, because I used to cared about cardio way too much. And then Summer used to work out with me on Saturdays, although she moved now and she doesn't anymore. But we need to do that again. It was fun.
I know, we really do.
We show up one Saturday. I show up one Saturday to lift weights with her, and she's like, "Where are your shoes?" I'm
Y'all, she's in like Hokas, like the rolly Hokas.
Shoes.
And she's trying to squat.
Yeah, she's like, take them off. You'd be better off just not wearing shoes. I'm like, can you not wear shoes at a gym? And she's like, take those off. You're going to hurt yourself. She's like, you're such an idiot. But I was like, whatever, this girl's crazy. So then she sent me a link to 2 shoes. So I got a pair of them and I wore them. And literally I was getting this weird shin knee pain whenever I lifted weights. I swear to God, it went away. And I was like, I'm not going to tell her because she's an asshole. I'm not going to tell her. But finally I was like, okay, it went away. And she's like, of course it did, because you were wearing the wrong shoes, you idiot.
Yes. Think about it. If you're on rolling running shoes, this is anybody who's doing legs. If you're on rolling running shoes, when you squat, your weight distribution changes and it puts pressure on ligaments that it should not put pressure on.
Yeah, so I would be a personal trainer, but I would make you wear lifting shoes and not running shoes. So that's what
there you go.
What is one word that describes you best if you had to pick one word?
Loyal.
Loyal? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, okay. I feel like, I'm a very loyal person. With patients, I promise I'm not going to give up. I'll try to figure it out. You'll give up before I do, and I know you've said that too. So, I'd say loyal.
I like it. What is your go-to healthy meal? I think I know this too. What's a weird go-to healthy meal? Because I can think of one that you eat that's real weird.
Quick and easy go-to would be ground beef, eggs, and rice, and then throw in some type of vegetable, whether that's broccoli or edamame. That's pretty easy to get the kids to eat that too. So
y'all, I'm going to tell you what Summer kind of got me addicted to. She eats ground beef and cottage cheese, which sounds really disgusting. But she's like, just think about it. It's super easy. All you need is ground beef. You can even throw cottage cheese on it cold. You can eat it cold. It's a bunch of protein. It's 2 things you like. Just put it together. And I was like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. And then I had some rice and I put beef on it one night and I do lactose-free cottage cheese or non-dairy cottage cheese. And it's actually really good.
It's like one of the best and quickest, easiest ways to get your protein. And I that's fair. I do bring it for lunch very often. So I know you see me eat that.
And it's weird. And people are like, what is that? And if you put some sriracha on it, it's fire.
So good. So then let me ask you this. Patients ask us all the time, how the heck do you get 120 grams of protein a day? So how do you get 120 grams of protein? What's that look like for you?
I eat usually in the morning some eggs. So I usually do like half a cup of egg whites. I use like half a cup of egg whites and I do one whole egg. I don't love the yolk of eggs. Just the consistency taste kind of weirds me out, but you need choline. So I can do one, especially if this sounds really weird, but I'm just gonna be honest with you, completely unhindered. I like to take my egg, I make it sunny side up, and I like to dump it upside down on my bread. I have this sourdough bread, einkorn sourdough bread that I heat up. So I freeze it and then I heat it up every morning so it doesn't spike my blood sugar. It's good for your stomach. And I toast it and then I put butter on it and salt and olive oil. And then I like to put my egg upside down on it and let the yolk on my egg run on my toast. I know that's so weird, but that's
get it a little soggy. That's fair.
It makes it soggy. And so I have my one egg on my toast and I put avocado on there too because I have avocado and my eggs. And I sometimes even put ground beef in my eggs. And then so that's usually like 30 or 40 grams. And then I have our gut fuel almost every day now because of the fiber. And that has protein in it. It
tastes really good, by the way, y'all. It's like strawberry kiwi. It is so good.
It's so good. I put my creatine in there. I put my inositol in there. I put my gut fuel in there. I shake it up, 8 ounces of water. So there's a little bit of protein for you there. Usually at lunch, I have something like weird that Summer eats, like rice. I usually have rice with a vegetable and some sort of meat. Today I had chicken. Sometimes I do beef. I like to put cottage cheese on there now because I do. And so that's another like 40 grams of protein. And then I usually have like fish or chicken at dinner. I like sweet potatoes. I do some soup, sometimes like taco soup. And so then if I don't get enough protein through those things, the other thing I'll do is maybe like some Greek yogurt and berries, or I will have a protein shake. But I mean, for me, it's pretty easy because I just make sure that I have some sort of protein source. I do beans. So I don't know. How do you do it? I mean, that's pretty much, I don't know.
I mean, probably fairly similar. Sometimes I'll drink a protein shake right when I get up because I have to work out in the morning or I'm not working out just with my kids' schedules and work schedule. So a lot of times I'll drink like half a protein shake and then froth the other half and put it in my Nespresso. So then I can have like a protein coffee latte to finish like the rest of it. It's so good. And then between me and my kids, I make 4 eggs every morning. And so I end up eating 2.5, 3, and they have the rest. I make my kids eat eggs every single morning. I want them to have protein because I know the rest of the day they're going to have carbs. And it tends to keep them from having high and lows on the sugars, which, tantrums, that type of thing. So eggs to start with, protein shake. Sometimes a breakfast sausage, if my son wants that, then I'll like nibble on his too. And then lunch is going to be ground beef, cottage cheese type of thing. Sometimes it's chicken thighs. I just get worn out with chicken breast. Do you?
Yeah, I do beef and broccoli. I forgot about that. Beef and broccoli is good. I like chicken soup.
So if I'm doing chicken, I like a thigh, but you have to eat more of it because it has less protein than a breast. So then you got to think about the fats with it, which, with us, we really just tell our patients who are starting, just count your protein. It's too stressful to count everything else with how busy everybody is. Just count your protein. So, but chicken thighs, I'm a big fan of. We do a bunch of red meat, whether it's steak, often it's lean ground beef, bison. I know I got you to try that ancestral blend. There's a Force of Nature. It's heart, liver, and kidneys maybe. It's not bad. If you take 1 pack of that and 1 pack of ground beef and mix it together, you can't tell. But that's awesome.
It's so bad my dog didn't want to eat it. It's bad.
Listen, my kids eat it. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. But and then I have a protein shake on my way from work to get the kids. And then dinner, like I said, is ground beef, rice, some type of veggie is most commonly it.
The other thing I forgot about protein that I do love when you were talking about your children. So Summer's child he might be my child. He loves peanut butter as much as I love peanut butter, sweet trip. He loves peanut butter on anything, including just a spoon. So I do get some of my protein. Sadly though, I don't do peanut butter anymore. I literally haven't had peanut butter in like 2 months because I have a patient who's a peanut farmer, and he told me how nasty peanuts are and how much mold they have in them. And he literally was like showing me pictures, and I almost cried. So I literally have not had peanut butter for 2 months, but I am doing almond butter. I love a good nut butter on, here's one of my favorites: rice cake, nut butter, bananas. Oh, a little bit of salt.
Sounds pretty good.
So like
that
I do
pretty
some,
good.
It's so good. And you can put jelly on it too if you have like homemade jelly. Like I make jelly out of blueberries. But anyways, so that's another way you can get protein is nut butter.
Yogurts are big. Like I'll eat the Chobani or the Oikyo's Pro Greek yogurt. That's a lot of times like my dessert. Like I'll put some Unreal peanut M&Ms, like appropriate serving size, obviously, but it'll be like my ice cream, like, and that's the thing is you don't have to be perfect all the time. Like if you're doing right by yourself, the majority of the time, we're big 80-20 fans, big 80-20 fans. And so if getting a little bit more protein with a small handful of Unreal peanut M&Ms, because they don't have the dyes in them, highly suggest for the kids as well. That's like dessert, and it's perfect. And you're teaching, like for me, I think of it as I'm teaching my kids better habits. Like, yes, you can have something sweet in the evening, but it's better than ice cream or a cake or a cookie or something like that.
And then go for a walk after you eat it.
Yeah. Get that nighttime light too. I'm big on the natural light.
So, salty or sweet?
Salty.
Really? Mm-hmm. Early bird or night owl?
Keeper's the sweet. Keeper's the sweet.
Yeah, that's true. Cookie Monster. Yeah. Summer is married to a man that I like to call the Cookie Monster. Just so you all know.
Because he is. He'll eat like if y'all know the Sweet Lawrence cookies that are they're like this big, but he'll cook a whole pack and he'll eat all of them and leave me, my son, and my daughter one each, and he'll have the other 9.
And we love you, Kiefer. This is nothing bad about it. This is just
honestly, we gotta appreciate it, because then if he didn't eat it, I probably would. So he's kind of looking out for me. I appreciate it.
And I also appreciate the fact that you see your doctor regularly and you take care of all of your metabolic issues, so you still are not unhealthy. My husband also loves cookies, so we kind of jokingly call Kiefer and Rob the Cookie Monsters, because Rob also is known to maybe go to some places and grab some cookies, hide them in the pantry, and then eat on them. And then when I find them, he gets mad at me and says, you always find my hidden cookies. Like, what is your problem? I'm like, well, if you were hiding cookies, we
would have to look for them. Listen, totally get it. Totally get it.
I don't even know how we got off on the rampage. Oh, because of the sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
But we do love you, Kiefer and Rob. 100% love you.
Yes.
So, early bird or night owl? I know the answer.
Early bird.
No. Summer works out at like 5 a.m. too. She's insane.
It's the only time I can. The only.
Summer or winter?
Summer, like 1,000%. 100,000,000% summertime.
Yeah. Rain or shine?
Shine.
Yeah. Walk or run?
Ooh. I like a walk. I can run, and I will run, but if I'm enjoying or trying to settle, walk.
What about walk or bike? Because I know how much you like your bike. Your Peloton. Yeah, walk or Peloton?
Peloton, 100%. I love my Peloton.
I know. If it's once a week, I'll give you that.
That's I did a hit today. It's my one hit. Once a week.
I think I told you, I went to a bike class a couple weekends ago at Sweat Society. It was freaking hard, but I felt really good afterwards. It was so hard. They were like, stand up, sit down, I was like, what the hell is going on? Get your weight, move it around. I'm like, I'm just here to ride a bike. Oh my God, can I sit
I thought this was going to be zone 2. Listen, I'm a big fan of one hit a week. Don't overdo it, because that will gas you and hurt your adrenals. But if you do one hit a week, I mean, for your cardiovascular system, I
agree. Ocean or mountains?
Ocean.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. At the end, I have 2 things, but that's all I have for you. Like, I just wanted people to get to know you and we did that one podcast a long time ago, but understand.
What about you? Warm or cold? I got one for you.
Warm.
Warm? 100%. Okay. This is a good one. If I love you, Rob. I don't want you to die. But if Rob died tomorrow, what would you not know how to do? Like, what does he just take care of for you?
Everything. I wouldn't know how to pay my bill. I wouldn't know where. It would be really bad. A lot. Like, I let me just think about my day this morning. Like, it's not that I don't know how. I don't make my coffee. I usually don't make my breakfast. I don't make my, like, espresso shots that I love. I don't do my laundry. Like, nothing. Like, he just helps, I don't know, take care of me. So there would be a lot that would be bad. I definitely, full disclosure, don't even know where all of our bank accounts would be. Like, we would be in trouble at Modern Endocrine. Not really, but I would be having to be like, okay, well, how do we pay our bills?
we love you, Rob.
That's not my problem, you all. Like, I'm really good at doctoring. Rob's really good at financing. Like, he's good at managing things and I'm good at doctoring. So there would be a lot. And Nellie would miss him so much. So it would be really sad. We don't want Rob to die.
That's fair. I was going to ask you dog or cat, but I know that answer. I feel like I feel like our listeners probably know that answer too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what else would be really bad if Rob died? Really bad. In all seriousness, Rob is like probably the only reason I ever stop working, because I always have so many things to do. And so he will be like, hey, we're going out of town and you're not working. And when we go out of town, he will literally take my computer and be like, is somebody dying? And I'm like, no. He's like, then you're not opening your computer today. You've worked every day for 15 days. And like, he doesn't do it a lot, but if it weren't for Rob, I probably would never not work. So that would also be really bad for my health.
Okay. So then I probably know this answer. I feel like others do too. So what is the what is the advice you give our patients that you have a hard time following yourself?
Oh, 100%. It's like shutting it off. I think it changes though. So like 2 years ago, I look back on pictures. It's funny. I was talking to Rob about this, like January of 23, probably in the best shape of my life I've been in my late 30s. Zero cares in the world, didn't have a lot going on, had just started my own practice, didn't really know what the heck was going on, but wasn't like super worried about it. Now there's just so many things going on that like it's really hard for me to take days off and to relax and rest like I tell people to, because I like am on the verge of this mountain that is going to be so powerful for so many people. And for me, it's just like, I don't know. I'm excited about it too. So it's not like I feel, the other problem is like, so yesterday was Sunday, right? Super nice outside yesterday. Beautiful. I sat outside and worked on my book all day for like 14 hours, but it almost doesn't feel like work because I'm like so excited and passionate about it. And I know it's going to help probably 1 million people. So for me, I think it's just hard because right now I have all these cool things going on. If I didn't have cool shit going on, then I wouldn't want to work all the time, you know? So I don't know. I think that's the hardest part for me is literally, I am going to do that this weekend though. I am not going to work on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I promised my husband. So I'm going to go 3 days. There's no work coming out of this human. But I think that's the hardest part for me right now.
I'll check in on that. We do hold each other accountable. So I'll check in on that.
I'm not working on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I am out of commission. Done.
Yeah. And I think what's hard though for us shutting our work off is, like we talked about earlier, is like we care so much. And I mean, I told you I had Friday off and today off, but I logged on this afternoon and I had like 25 messages. And I was like, oh my gosh, like these people are waiting to hear back from me. And I know you feel the same way. And we're like, okay, we got to like try to work through it. And that's why we appreciate all of our patients when they're nice and patient with us in our response, because we are human and we do have to take some time for ourselves and our mental health and our adrenal fatigue and our kids and, you know, your other things you've got going on outside of Modern Endocrine and Rob and everything. So it's hard for us to take a beat because we care so much.
Right. 100%. I would completely agree with that. It's, but it's, I don't know, it's super exciting too though. Right. So I think that's my number one thing is just like resting and just taking that time to like recharge and regenerate, like just be ready for the next week. But I'm almost there. So it's exciting. And it's hard sometimes because you're like, you know, do I do this? Do I go to bed? But also I'm that type of person where, and some people may not understand this, I'm the type of person where if I really love something that I'm doing, it doesn't feel as much like work. And it's just like, I want to do this. I want to get it done. I want to give it to people to like help them. So that's my biggest struggle right now. And I know it. And I'm almost done.
Getting close. You are getting close. I'm proud of you. I am. So.
Yeah. So that's my biggest.
Yeah. Mine's water intake. I tell patients all the time, you need your water. Stay hydrated. Yeah, you do. You are always drinking your water. I try really, really hard. I get it, but I try really, really hard. That's something that I always have to think about. It's not second nature for me. And it's not like I fill it with other things. I drink water and coffee and element or like some type of electrolyte, but it's just...
I feel like everything else we tell our patients to do, I do a pretty good job about. Like, I'm mindful, I walk, I don't eat like a third grader. Like, I try to do most of it. It's just the whole relaxing, calming down situation. But again, it goes back to the fact that like anything that I do, I'm doing hopefully to help so many other people. It's kind of cool when you sit and think about like, sometimes like, for instance, I'll just give you a prime example. Yesterday morning, I woke up at 6:30 in like this just weird place. Like, woke up, heart beating really fast. No idea why. Alarm didn't go off. Just like autonomic nervous system's pissed off. Like, just meh. And I could hear you in my ear. Like, did you take your adaptogens? Did you all the things.
Did you deep breathe and pray and meditate?
Yes. I literally like got up, I meditated, I prayed, I took my adaptogens, I went for a walk, but like, I was kind of having all these things going through my head with just like, oh my God, am I dying? No, none of that was happening. It's just, I think like subconsciously I was thinking about before I went to bed, like we are such a small speck in the world compared to like everything that's going on. And sometimes you get so wrapped up in yourself that it's like, if you really step back and take a big picture, kind of like with patients, right? Like if you get wrapped up in one symptom instead of looking at the whole patient, we're just this tiny speck in the world that like hoping to make that ripple that I told you about. And so I don't know, it's just kind of cool, but also at the same time, I want to do things that are very impactful for people that help them continue to make those ripples. So it's just interesting. I just needed a little bit of like woosah. And then I sat outside and worked my book and I was fine. And I did take my adaptogens before I went to bed. And I took my adaptogens this morning. Like,
good. Your provider's proud of you.
Yes, I did. And I meditated and it was fine. But it's interesting. You know, sometimes when you get all wrapped up in these things, it's like you really sometimes need to take a step back and be like, in the big picture, does this really matter? Like last night too, I was so tired. It was 11 o'clock and I was like, should I just stay up and finish this book? And then I'm like, no, I can do it tomorrow. You know, in the grand scheme of things, is me staying up till 2 a.m. going to fix this? No, like, and it's going to just take away from all my patients tomorrow. So sometimes you just have to like,
rein it in a little bit. Yeah, no, I agree. You kind of have to think like, what would I tell myself if I was my provider type of thing? And I know we tell each other too. But you know, like, that can wait until tomorrow. Don't miss bedtime. Go do, the important stuff with your family. And put back into yourself is huge.
I often find myself thinking, what would Sommer say? I often also find myself thinking, what would Jan say? She's my therapist, which is kind of funny because sometimes I'll be like, what would Jan do?
They're both telling me the same thing.
Or what would she tell me to say or not do? So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess maybe that's just you're getting older and wiser. I don't know. But
maybe. What are you most proud of to date with Modern Endocrine?
Oh, wow. That's a really hard question. I think I'm really proud right now of like the team that we've built. It's really hard to start a business, build a team from the ground up, especially when you have a lot of changes. So what I've learned is like Modern Endocrine has changed so much in 3 years. And if you really want to be impactful and have really, good people working with you, it's hard to find people that are adaptive to change. Most people don't like change. And so Modern Endocrine is going to keep changing. And you have to have people that want to be there and that support you and see the vision and know that sometimes we're building the plane while we're flying it. And that's really hard. And 5 months ago, we did not have that team. And I knew it. I knew in my heart, like in December of last year, we needed to make some decisions, some changes at Modern Endocrine, but it hurt my heart because the people that I knew that were on the team that were prohibiting us from accelerating. And so I did what most people would do, which was I didn't make those hard decisions. I just was like, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to ride it out. And then eventually you have to make those decisions and things kind of come crashing down. And so in May, we made a lot of changes, but I think I'm most proud right now. Everyone that works at Modern Endocrine, I think really wants to work there. They're there for the right reasons. We have a really solid team. And when you have a really solid team of people who have the vision that you have and the empathy that you have, like you can teach people medicine, right? Like I can teach Dustin and Lacey and you how to take care of people. I cannot teach you empathy and drive and compassion and like, this is where we're going. And so I'm really proud right now that we have this team of people who I think and Sarah, they all want to do what I want to do, which is make people better. And even our MAs, right? Like Kate and,
Kanisha, Emily,
and Emily, like Jesse, all of our nurses, like they all want to,
Gabe.
Yeah, they all want to make people better. And our front desk staff are all amazing. Yes. Candace and Keisha and Alan, like everyone that works there wants to actually help people. And so I'm most proud of that right now than anything, because it's really, really hard. If you're listening to this and you own a business, man, the first 3 years, I never want to start a business again from the ground up, ever. Never. It has like been the most challenging thing. But I'm really proud of the people that we have. And just like, I think that's to me what I'm the most proud of. Like if I were a patient, I would come to Modern Endocrine. Well, I mean, I do come to Modern Endocrine, but,
yeah, so you're welcome.
I think that's really cool. It's like, we just have this really cool group of people. We don't have attitude. Nobody gives me attitude. Nobody, Jonathan, I forgot about Jonathan too. But
he's been so good. Like he has learned on the fly. He's been doing a good job.
So I think that we have a really cool team right now. So I'm the most proud of that with Modern Endocrine. And as far as like outside of Modern Endocrine, like outside of all of that, I think the thing I'm the most proud of, honestly, is the fact that I am going to finish this book. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, I'm never going to write a book. If you would have told me 2 years ago you're going to write a book, like, you're crazy. I can barely read books, to be honest with you. Like, I have a slight form of dyslexia, which is why med school was hard for me. I listen to a lot of things, and I make like stories in my head. So if you would have been like, oh, you're going to write a book, I'd have been like, you're crazy. And then whenever the thought popped in my head and I wanted to write it, I was like, okay, I got super excited about it. I started to write it. It's really freaking hard. It's so hard. And then it didn't come out how I wanted it to come out. And I got this 900-page manuscript and I was like, this is complete garbage and it's way too much work. I'm just going to trash it. And then I let it set for several months. And then I went back to it and I was like, no, it's so bad still. And it was so hard editing it. And then I started doubting myself, like, well, maybe I shouldn't write this book and this book isn't going to help anyone and it's going to be crappy. And so then I let it set some more. And then about 6 weeks ago, somebody that I know that read it from the beginning was like, they kind of were like, you got to get your head out of your ass and fix your book because it's actually going to be really good and it's going to help people. And you're just being really stupid. And I was like, but it's going to be a lot of work still. And they were like, and I was like, fine. So like 6 weeks ago, I really got in there and started like trying to fix it again. And I will tell you, last night I have one chapter left. But I finished a chapter last night, and when I was laying in bed, I was like, you know what? I'm really glad that person said that to me because I really do think it's going to help a lot of people. So I'm actually proud that I went back and I'm going to finish it because every part of me wanted to just be like, I have a million other things going on. I don't need to finish this book. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it. And it's not going to suck. It's going to be amazing. What about you? What's one of the things you're most proud about?
Let's see here. I mean, I love our team. I think we all get along great. And my big thing is I want work to be fun. I want everybody to have fun together. And I know, like I always put the music on and I always love to play Who Sings a Song and like keep people engaged and laughing. And so, I love the like camaraderie we have, with our MAs and our nurses and our front desk to just be able to joke around through the day, the majority of the day, but be serious when we need to be serious and get things done how they need to get done efficiently. So I'm proud of the team that we have. I'm with you. I agree. I'm proud of our group that we have together. I think everybody just views each other as equals. The MAs, you guys, just because they have MA behind their name does not mean anything as far as knowledge goes. They know so much. I mean, and they're like, Kanisha and Emily came from another functional office before ours. And like, just like we have ideas, they have, like, hey, we used to do something this way, we're doing it this way, can you explain why? And explaining and having them completely comprehend and understand, and then have them be like, hey, I got this, y'all, you have this message. This is why we're doing XYZ, and spot on. You guys have it right. And so their willingness to learn and with us, from us, and work with us, like I'm proud of those guys.
What about outside of work though? I think I know what you should be most proud about, but I'm curious what you thought.
I'd like to say, this is probably a working mom's like nightmare, is I'd like to say how proud I am about trying to balance both, but I honestly feel like I fail at it quite a bit, just because, getting the kids up, or I guess waking up, working out, getting breakfast, getting the kids up, taking them to school, go to work, pick them up from school, go to t-ball practice, make dinner, and put them to bed. You feel like you miss quality time through the day. And so I'm proud of my ability to do that, although I still feel like it can be a failure because you don't get to spend as much intentional time as you'd like to. So I struggle with that balance a lot. And all my friends, I know you know that with me. So I'm pretty open about that.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think that you should be the most proud of the fact that you have at least Trip. So like your youngest one, Skylar, doesn't talk as much, but I think you're making a awesome little human, and two awesome little humans. But Trip, like he was at the office a couple of times and he's just funny. And he's like, you're making this cool little human that's going to be, an awesome part of society. And although you feel like you miss time with him and all these, I mean, even if you didn't work, he's going to go to school.
For sure.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
he's going
for sure.
do other things. And when you drop him off, he's like, bye, Mom. Like,
doesn't think twice. He's like, see ya. He does tell me he loves me still. So I hope that doesn't go away.
But yeah. And you also have to realize too, that like what fills your cup, you love taking care of people, you love, so it is hard to balance it. But like, I do think that you're doing an amazing job raising these little humans that are hilarious and love to eat peanut butter. So, and Trip thinks everything is easy now, Summer was telling me. So because Summer makes everything, seem so easy, he's like, oh, Mom, I got it. That's easy. It's just cute.
Like, oh man, we got to give you some adversity because
you leave the peanut butter out so easily that he can just open it anytime he wants and stick his toys in there and eat it. So like,
the problem was it was 4 shelves high. He climbed 4 shelves to pick out the peanut butter and go hide and eat it. He was 3 at that time, so no, they're great kids.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. And most moms out there probably feel that way. Even humans. Like I have a dog and I feel like that sometimes. I'm like, God, did I brush my teeth? Have I seen my husband? Did I tell him I love him? Like, I mean, I think that's just everyone, but you have to just kind of take a step back sometimes and think like, well, this is the world. Like, this is the world we live in. And maybe not everything is big of a disaster as we always put it out to be, right?
For sure. And I will say, like, going back to the beginning where your question of, ER and, being here with Modern Endocrine, both of them had like tummy bugs 3 weeks ago. And, I said, hey, like, I got to bring them to the office or I can't come. And, you're like, Frank, like, that's totally fine. Let's go. Like, they were in a room, they watched movies, they ran through the hallway and yelled Mom a few times. So I appreciate everybody who bared with us when they did that. But, to have that ability, like, I'm super grateful for that too, because it takes a village for sure.
Okay. Well, you got anything else?
Yeah. So you always ask everybody, but has anyone ever asked you, like, what's your favorite food and why?
I don't know if anyone's ever asked me what my favorite food is and why.
Like,
I think
what would you tell people to eat?
Yeah, I think right now my favorite food is bone broth because it's really good for your stomach. It helps wake up your digestive fire. It's good protein. It has collagen. So I think bone broth is my favorite food. Like, I drink it every morning just out of a coffee mug, but great protein, good collagen, wakes up your digestive fire, heals your gut. There's nothing bad about it. Super easy.
Okay. And then what is your other ones? What would you tell yourself? What your younger self? Isn't that one?
One of them, what is one thing that's free for your health? I would say walking outside, like getting sunlight and going for a walk, completely free. And I try to do that every single day. And what is one thing I wish I would have known about my health 15 years ago that I would have done differently? I would have found a functional medicine provider like Modern Endocrine instead of taking those bullshit answers from the doctor that gave me really
You're hypo, you're hyper, all the
here.
things.
Yeah. Like, you know, whenever I knew something in my stomach was wrong, I wish I would have listened to myself. And that's what I would have done differently is I would have found a functional, I didn't even know what functional medicine was. And I was in medical school, y'all. And then I was in residency. Like, what is functional medicine? I wish that I would have known half of what I know now because I would have found a functional medicine doctor and I probably would have been so much better off. You know, my thyroid was so out of whack and then I got such bad insulin resistance and PCOS to the point where it really affected my fertility, which is frustrating. And so I would have found somebody when I was in my mid-20s and I would have fixed it so I wouldn't have had to deal with all the issues I had to in my 30s. So that's definitely what I wish I would have known.
Yeah, that's fair. That's good. I think that adds to the value though. Like, I feel like as providers in functional medicine, I mean, even outside our clinic, you typically hear, oh, I had cancer and that's what led me down this route. I dealt with, in your case, PCOS, fertility, hypothyroidism, and that's what led me down this route. I saw, you know, the Band-Aid medicine and whatnot. So like everybody has personal stake in this area of medicine. Patients as well, they're at their wit's end and they've got personal stake in this area of medicine. So I think that's the coolest part of how it all can come together in the functional side.
So I want to end by telling you two things really quickly. One of them is the most common compliment I hear about you from patients. So I think the most common compliment I hear about you from patients is just, it's literally, Sommer is awesome. She is so awesome. She's just like you. She listens and she puts things together. I haven't had a patient say, Sommer's just like you, but blonde.
I dig it. Let's go.
I know. So maybe you should get dark hair. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, naturally it's dark, and I haven't been dark since I was like in the 4th grade. So I think that would be a surprise for everybody.
Go back dark. So I think that's one of the things that that's the most common compliment that I hear is that you take the time to listen to them. So basically, when somebody tells me your nurse practitioner is just like you, then I know I've done a really good job. I feel like a proud mom, right? Because everyone that I want to work at Modern Endocrine, I want to be a direct reflection of myself and what we want to do there. So I think that that's like the best compliment you can get. And people tell me that all the time. So that's the most common compliment I hear about you. And something I personally appreciate about you the most, I think, is the one thing I appreciate is your attitude, because you do have a really good attitude. You try to stay positive. You try to keep people like in a good headspace. Even when, the last year has been a little rough at Modern Endocrine. Well, the first year was really bad. This last year hasn't been as bad, but you weren't here the first year. But when things change, it's hard, and it is. There's nothing you can say. You make people mad when you change how you do things. You make people mad when you don't take insurance. But ultimately, when you have your North Star, like, I just have to keep my North Star. And so I tried at the best I can with everything going on to keep everyone, focused on that North Star. And so I've appreciated, I tell you, like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're trying to do. And you're just like, okay. And you have a good attitude about it. You keep everyone in a good attitude. And so I think I appreciate that the most about you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's been a good fun year for sure.
Is fun the word we would use, or
it's all about perspective. You got to think about it. It's all about perspective.
Yeah. It's been a good learning opportunity year, but I mean, again, I wouldn't take it back. And I think we've got a lot of really fun stuff coming, but it's just all a part of like growing pains. I think, if you're listening to this and you're starting a business of any kind, even if it's not medicine, it's going to be hard. Like 100% it's going to be hard, not for the faint of heart, but I think it's really important to have your North Star. Remember your North Star. I have to tell myself my North Star a lot. I've had to, it's gotten a lot better, but like, as long as you know that, you'll get through it. And then you'll look back and be like, oh, okay, that's why I did it. And that's what's cool about now is like, I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like, that's why we did it. Right.
Mm-hmm. We're getting there. We're getting there for sure. No. And it's proof is in the pudding. We've added 2 more providers because, we're both pretty booked, which is the biggest blessing you could ask for, and so we're both excited to share that with them, with Lacey and Dustin.
Yeah, and we got really cool providers too, and they both kind of just fell in our lap. This is the coolest thing too. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, do we need more providers? Do we not? And then I prayed a lot about, like, well, I want to get a really good one. I don't want to get a crappy one. And then it's like, where do you find them? And then Lacey just kind of fell in our, literally, you and I were talking about this, and I get an email, and I still don't even know how she found us, but she sent me an email and was like, oh, I'm in nursing school and I want to shadow you. I think she found me on social media or something. And then she came, and I wasn't going to let her shadow. Was not going to let her shadow because I was like, I'm too busy for this. I had to fill out all this paperwork. I had to get an attorney to review this paperwork. It ended up costing me $350 to let her shadow me. And I was so pissed about it. And then I was like, whatever. Because it just ended up taking all this time. And I was just like, I was like, this better not be annoying. And the first day she showed up, she was like amazing. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. God, thank you for reminding me that I'm being an asshole. And then, and then she was great. She stayed with us for like 2 months, and her eyes were always like this big, and I could just tell that she loved it. And then, we got Dustin by way of, I sort of joked with him, but he was one of my patients, and he used to have, traditional medicine. And then literally one day I was kind of joking with him, but I had been like talking to Sommer and kind of praying about, like, we need another provider. And then I was like, you should come to the not dark side of medicine. And he was like, well, okay. And I was like, wait, are you serious? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I've been through it all now, and you changed my life, and like, I would do it. And I was like, well, I guess there's my sign. Like, like, it's just kind of cool.
Well, I remember we were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that, and I was like, well, I know Dustin. And you were like, really? And I was like, yeah, I went to nursing school with him, like at UCO. We were in the same nursing class. And so, things kind of come full circle where it's like, he was like one of the smartest kids in the class. You talk to him one time and you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense for sure, because he's great. But I was like, you have to, like, if he's open to it, you got to do that for sure.
He's super smart, and he's so funny, and Lacey is too. So yeah.
It's awesome. Very well rounded
about our little family. Okay, so I'll let you get back to your life, but thank you for coming on and introducing yourself to all of our listeners. I'm sure that they appreciate it. Maybe they hated us rambling. I don't know, but
I guess we'll find out.
Maybe we'll do this again. We'll call it Unhinged. We'll all four get on here with a glass of sparkling water and just like go at it. I don't know. We'll see.
I know we need we need a few panel episodes. It's like common questions and stuff like that, and we can just kind of go unhinged on, because
we should totally do that. I'll put something on social. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
So this was a very different type of episode. I appreciate you guys listening until the very end. If you like this and you want me to do more episodes like this, just more kind of unhinged, me talking in general, leave me a review wherever you get this podcast episode. Let me know, hey, I really like this episode. Do more of this, do solo, whatever. Let me know what you need. But I just want you guys to know, Sommer and I and everyone that works in Modern Endocrine, we're real humans, right? And so we struggle with things too. And we just want to be real with you and let you know about some of those things. I hope you learned something about Sommer. If you're thinking of being a patient at Modern Endocrine, she is a phenomenal provider. She's mine. Everyone that works at Modern Endocrine is wonderful. And so now you know a little bit more about her. Keep in mind, if you do want to be a patient at Modern Endocrine, we now have a license in 44 or 45 states. All of those states can be found on our website. So we would love to see you and help you through your journey. Our Gut Health Accelerator program is live on a webinar monthly. And so we do a ton of stuff to help you with your gut health. My book is coming out within the next month or two, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to teach you so much about your gut and your hormones. And lastly, make sure you're following us on social media. We give so much free, good, educational information on social media. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending it with us and learning a few things. Have a wonderful week.
The information presented, including any materials discussed, referenced, or linked within this podcast, are for general educational purposes only, not the practice of medicine. No doctor-patient relationship is formed from you listening to this podcast or utilizing any of the information provided. I am a doctor, but I am not talking to you as your doctor. The information provided is not intended to diagnose or treat health problems or take the place of the professional medical care provided by your doctor. If you are experiencing any health problems, including problems you believe have been touched upon in any respect within this podcast, You should consult your doctor about the problems without delay. You may ask your doctor whether he or she believes the information I have provided would be helpful to you, but you should still consult your doctor immediately and follow his or her medical advice as your treating physician. I'm just here to provide you basic knowledge about the issues we discuss so you are more aware of them and can better discuss them with your doctor. That's why we call it Back to the Basics. Join me on the next episode as we continue our journey.